Hello everyone, welcome to Courtside. I'm Blair Cartwright. Pleased to be joined as always with Tom Cullen, our head women's basketball coach. 3 games since our last show. Tough loss to Georgia, big win on the road at Missouri, another tough loss at home to South Carolina. This team is just so close to being in the thick of the SEC race.
It's an up and down 10 days. You know, like you said, two baskets away, a couple three-pointers, one in each game away from upsetting Georgia and South Carolina, both of them top 15 teams. And it shows you how good we can be, that we can compete with them and be right there. But, you know, you got to find ways to win those games. But to this team's credit, I think, you know, when they took that loss to Georgia and they had to go on the road 1-4, backs to the wall, found a way to beat Missouri on the road, something that's hard to do in this league, win on the road. So this team's got a lot of savvy. You know, they need to find some confidence somewhere. But you know, I like them. I've said this from day one. I like the way this team tries to compete. I like the way they practice every day. And so you just got to stick by these kids and hope that like something's going to fall for them in one big game and it's going to be the difference maker. Then they're going to gain all that confidence. Very similar to what last year's team did. Dug themselves a hole, got a little confidence going, kept growing, and then they just take off. So that's our hope. That's what we're working towards right now.
All right, let's take a look at our 3 keys from the last 2 ball games first. We've mentioned her all year. Quistell Williams has just been steady.
She has been steady. You know, she stepped into that starting role, and she's up and down within the context of the game. Sometimes gets off to a slow start. Certainly, we find things to be frustrated with her about as well. But ultimately, you know, you leave her in there, and she knocks that rust off a little bit, and she finds a way to score, and she finds a way to rebound for us. So I'm pretty happy with her. We got to get better effort out of the defensive side from her, but from offensively and rebounding wise, she's doing a pretty solid job.
Second key, your point guard, Callie Burna. She's been scoring. The assist numbers 7 and 6 in the last game, but the rebounds 5 against Missouri, 10 against South Carolina. She's getting it done in all phases of the game.
Well, we utilize her on the defensive glass a lot of times, and people take different approaches to that. They get their point guards in deep outlet spots. We feel like in this league, it's such a great rebounding league, then you have to battle so much at the 3, 4, and 5 positions to box out that if it's all you can do to hold your box out. And when you do that, you've got to have guards, or what we call free rebounders, somebody who's guarding somebody who's not coming to the boards. And the one thing that Callie does a great job as a free rebounder, and she usually is our free rebounder, is she just goes and gets the ball off the defensive glass, and then she initiates our fast break from there. So very steady. Sometimes we get mad at our post players. If our post players could just defensive rebound a little bit more, we could get her out a little bit deeper in the outlet, we could score in transition more. But it's been a good formula for us over a period of time, and Callie's very good at it.
We'll split our third key between 2 players. For the Missouri game, Erin Gatlin, a career high 23 points to go with 4 rebounds and 3 steals. She was phenomenal in that game.
No, she was a difference maker for us. We knew they were going to play zone. We knew we were going to have to make some outside shots. You know, I probably would have been happy with 2 or 3 threes from her just to get us jump started. But as it turns out, she made 6. And really, when you look at the flow of the game, I think we needed all 6 of them to come out of there with a win. So, you know, Erin's a tough little kid. She's an Arkansas kid. She loves this school and this program. And you know, she's a kid that I've turned to from time to time. She's never really let me down much. You know, there's going to be games when maybe she won't make the 3 quite as well, but I always know she's going to give us everything that she's got. And I think that inspires the rest of her teammates to play hard and scrap. And so we're very fortunate to have her here, and hopefully she'll finish out the year strong for us.
And our final key, Jasmine Bowen, spectacular against South Carolina, 13 points, 4 boards in 33 minutes. Good to see her scoring again.
Well, she started out scoring for us well. You know, we need to get her more touches down there, get her in one-on-one situations. She might be our most consistent finisher down there in traffic. She's strong. She gets herself to balance before she shoots it. And this was the perfect example of it, you know, and I look back at the game that we just played, and I'm asking myself why we didn't get her the ball more in the second half, but then I realized she picked up some fouls and she was in foul trouble, so we never really got her back into a groove. But you know, she's our post of the future. She's somebody that if she can come on and she can play like that and get 10 points for us night in and night out, she could be that inside presence that allows us to get a little bit of roll here at the end.
We've got some games to talk about. We'll do that with Coach after this timeout.
My dedication puts me all in.
Commitment puts me all in.
Hard work
puts me all in.
Doing just a little bit more. That's what puts me all in.
We're all in. Are you all in?
Are you all in?
Single game tickets are on sale now at ArkansasRazorbacks.com. Get yours today.
Hey guys, welcome to Callie's Court. You may recognize the face, but if you don't, I'm sure you will recognize the voice. This is Andrew, the voice of the Razorbacks, the voice of us. So Andrew, tell us a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
The play-by-play voice of Razorback women's basketball. Do all the radio broadcasts, pregame shows, postgame shows with Robin Alpey-Wright, former Razorback. This is my third year doing it. I've done a few other Olympic sports, but basketball is it's the biggest gig I've had so far.
Why is that?
Because of the exposure. 6 different stations carry the games that we have. It's on our network. We get a lot more hits for that sport as opposed to some of the other ones that I've done.
So there had to be a time in your life where you thought, hey, I have a pretty good voice, or did someone say, you have a really good voice, you should think about going in the radio?
Well, it's funny because that's not at all how it happened, actually. I was 8 years old and really not athletic at all, but really into sports. My brother played baseball, and they needed the PA announcer for some reason or another. I don't exactly remember what the deal was, but it kind of matriculated from that. Started doing PA at a really young age, and somehow that turned into radio, and here I am.
Now, I feel like it would be a little hard to stay professional the whole time. Is it hard for you, since you know us, to not be like, come on, Cal, you can do it? You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all. I mean, in one aspect, you're right. You are pulling for the team because it's the team you follow, and obviously broadcasting games are much more fun when the team's doing well. But you have a job to do. I mean, it's like anything else, in that you want to stay professional, but at the same time, you do want to have a little bit of a slant. People want to know where your interests lie. Your interests do lie with Arkansas as opposed to the opposing team, but you certainly got to keep it in check.
If you were about to have an interview and you were trying to get a job and they said, you have one line, show me your voice, what would you say?
Wow. If I had to say one thing,
to sell your voice, that's all you could say, one thing.
I don't know.
If that's what you would say, I'm not too confident in you, Andrew.
Get the job if that's what I say. I don't know. No one's gonna ask me that question.
Give us a good go Hogs, something like that.
Go Hogs.
Well.
Or do you want me to call the Hogs? Because I'm not calling the Hogs.
Okay, you don't want to. That's fine. Well, I can say personally, my family relied on Andrew all last year on away games so that they could keep up to date with our games, and he did a great job, and he's always done a great job. And this is Andrew, the voice of the Razorbacks. Thanks for watching.
Hawk fans, it's an exciting time for Razorback football, and we want you to be part of it. Join Coach Bielema and his staff for a personal introduction and breakdown of each member of the 2013 Razorback signing class. You have 2 opportunities for an inside look. Signing Day on the Hill, presented by First Security, Wednesday, February 6th at the Fayetteville Town Center. Signing Day in the Rock, presented by First Security, Thursday, February 7th at Verizon Arena.
This week's question. Your team is 4th in scoring defense in the SEC at 56 points per game. What's been the key?
The key's probably been my wife, who's my defensive coordinator. Really, we were one of the best defensive teams in the nation last year. We looked at this team and we knew that they probably weren't quite as experienced or weren't quite as athletic in some positions, and we wondered whether they could be as good defensively. But she's pushed them really hard. She's been very demanding with them, but patient at the same time. We've tried to roll a lot of freshmen in there, inexperienced players that don't quite understand the significance of playing together on the defensive side. But they've really gelled well, and they've done a pretty good job. We certainly have had our lapses. We've had some of those inexperienced players break us down from time to time, and give up some really crucial baskets. It happened against Georgia for us, but I would say for the most part they've been steady. They continue to grow. They continue to mold themselves as a team, and for us to have a fighting chance to win, our defense has to be good because we haven't been putting the ball in the basket consistently the way we need to. So I'm happy with the progress of our defense. I think we'll continue to get better defensively as the year goes on, and then we just need to get the offensive coordinator, who is me, to get us jump started to make a few more baskets.
One more thing on defense, I can recall this year, we've seen a lot of the opposing team having shot clock violations, and that's a big momentum turn, and I mean, it says a lot about your defense.
Well, it's a sign, that you can make a team grind for 30 seconds. You take away option A and B, and all teams are that way. It's hard for teams to grind late in the shot clock and be able to score. So I think we do a combination of coaching defense pretty well. I also think we do a pretty good job of game planning and taking away option A, option B, and then you've got to defend option C and option D on your own, and our kids have done a good job of that. So pretty proud. I think we've probably gotten more shot clock violations this year from this team than we did from last year's team, who maybe they were a little bit better defensively.
Well, hopefully we'll see some more shot clock violations for the opponents coming up as we take a look at what's coming up this week. A road swing through the state of Mississippi. First off, the Razorbacks head to Oxford Thursday night against Ole Miss, and Oxford, unfortunately, has been a tough place for the Razorbacks.
It has been. We went down there and we beat them a couple years ago, and amazingly, it was the first time in the history of our program that we've ever come away with a win down there. And we had a lead on them last year. It was right after that 0-for-3 start, and we thought we had things under control, and they still found a way to nip us. And so our kids remember that. Hopefully, it's not a cloud that hangs over their head. Hopefully, it's something that can be a great challenge for us. Interesting road trip for us in that we've never really had the opportunity that we've had Ole Miss and Mississippi State in back-to-back games, and this is the first time we've decided just to stay out and go from one venue to the other venue. We're going to miss an extra day of school as a result of it, but just kind of makes sense that we don't go back and forth just for that one day of school. I think our kids will get more rest and maybe more attention to detail, which we're going to need that to be able to come away 2-0 on this road trip, which is kind of what we feel like we have to do at this point.
The road trip concludes Sunday in Starkville at Mississippi State, as you mentioned. 2 o'clock tip. It's going to be on Fox Sports Net. New head coach for them this year, Vic Schaefer, former assistant at Arkansas, former assistant at Texas A&M, and the reunion SEC tour continues.
Well, and I know Gary went down and played against Mississippi State just about a week ago, and I think beat him like 80-something to 40-something. So I don't know whether that's still a solid friendship or not, but that was my first thought when I saw that score. Vic Schaefer's, besides working for Gary and his connections here at Arkansas, a very good friend of mine. I got to know him very well when he was the head coach at Sam Houston State because he was one of Gary's best friends, and we've continued that friendship throughout our time. It's always hard to play against friends. It's just tough because by competitive nature, you've got to find a way to win the game, and you're beating down an opponent. But I'm sure Vic will look forward to this game. He knows he's got a lot of work to do there at Mississippi State, and every win that he can notch right now builds his confidence and his kids' confidence. So it's going to be a war down there at Mississippi State.
Well, hopefully it'll be 2 road wins for the Razorbacks and really get back into the heat of the SEC race.
I hope so. I think we've been a pretty solid road team in the SEC. I think since we've been here, this is my 6th year. I think if you went back and looked at our road record, we'd probably be 3rd or 4th in the conference in terms of road wins. And I wish I had an explanation for that, but I think our kids just they get out of here, they get focused, they get more rest, they're not in class, and they've just been pretty good road warriors so far. So that's going to be our challenge this week. We're going to have to continue that tradition.
All right, well, let's get 2 road wins, and let's talk about them next week.
All right.
All right, for Tom Cullen, I'm Blair Cartwright. We'll see you next time on Courtside.